This is the latest from SE Electronics. It's called the Neom. Literally, it's called the Neom. Yes, I am a child. I get it. This mic is aimed at a whole bunch of people, and I quote from the website, built for content creators, streamers, podcasters, and musicians alike. Now, it does come with some cool features to fill those promises out, including the ability to use it with both computers and Android and iOS, which lends itself to its record live anywhere, anytime slogan. We'll see exactly how it meets those promises at the end of this video. It's an all-metal body, it's rather chunky and absolutely solid. The mesh has a bit of give to it, but really not much. The mute button is nice and clicky, the knobs are nice and smooth, and they don't feel too cheap or loose. One cool throwback feature here, the mic actually has gain up to 11.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
I have to say, much like all the other SE mics, this thing is gorgeous and very stylish. The bass is, well, fine, though much like the basses for most USB microphones, it is kind of useless, and we'll look at how this mic performs at desk level a bit later. The only build I'm a bit leery about is the clip system. Now, this is all plastic, and because it is so unique, I'd be curious how difficult it would be to get another one if this starts to fail. Now, my biggest concern is that it doesn't clamp as tight over time, or it just downright breaks. To be as cliche as possible, only time will tell. This is a cardioid condenser microphone, 24-bit, records up to 192 kilohertz, and this will work with Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS, and this is the frequency response. You can see that high-end boost starting about the 5K mark, giving it those crispy highs, and that is all of the information that you have online. Time for the off-axis rejection of the SE Neom. I can't get enough of that. Here I'm speaking about 5 inches off the front of the capsule. Now I'm speaking about 5 inches off the side of the capsule. And now I'm speaking about 5 inches off the rear of the capsule. Now let's do the plosive test. This one's going to be harsh. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Yeah, that was just brutal. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If you're going to be doing anything with this microphone, you need a pop shield. Because anything outside of this placement, even with this placement, it still pops. Now for the proximity effect test of the SE Neom. This is me speaking about 5 inches off the front of the microphone. Now I'm about 1 inch off the front of the microphone. 5 inches, 1 inch. Now let's take a look at the preamp noise. And this is something I noticed while I was gaining it up, because my preamp right now is set to 1. And I'm getting a dB reading, peaks at about -9. Okay, so let's turn it up just 2 spots to 3. Now I'm getting peaking readings. This isn't overwhelming the ears, but I'm peaking at about -6. And on the front of this microphone, it's actually showing the peaking red on that little LED, which is kind of concerning, meaning that I'm probably overdriving the preamp in this microphone. And you can kind of hear a bit of the room and a little bit of the preamp noise. So let's turn it up higher. Now it's at 6. Now let's take a look at some of the handling noise for this microphone and how much is coming through as I bump the desk. Not as bad as the Dynacaster, I can tell you that. Now let's take a look at the mute button control and see how much it sounds. Now I have the Neom microphone on its desktop stand, and it's about a foot away, and I'm going to have to gain up to meet that -9. Kind of the standard I have for recording audio, and there we go. Now we're at about -9 for the peaks, and this is what it sounds like. It's not horrible. It's not great either. And here's the thing. So when I had it close to my face, this thing was sitting at about 1 on the gain dial on this microphone. Now it's sitting at about 7. Okay, then let's start with the pros here. It is a decent sounding mic. Gorgeous build quality. It's sleek. It's sexy. It has better handling than the SE Dynacaster. And the ability to plug and play with all the platforms is a really nice touch. Did I mention that it goes to 11?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
And that's kind of where I finish here. The cons are a bit frustrating. The plosives are horrendous. And sure, you can move this thing away, but if you pop it, you're going to know. The gain isn't as clean as I want it to be, and the mic even goes red for clipping, even though the output does not, which makes me think the pre is being overloaded, which kind of makes the goes to 11 claims just a bit weird. And personally, I found some of the higher airiness frequencies to be a bit piercing. Now, I am very sibilant, though it is easy enough to EQ out. When it starts to get piercing and harsh, it can really distract from the other, much nicer frequencies, and that harshness is actually kind of hard to EQ out. This mic will suit you just fine if you're doing a podcast, or perhaps you need something super compact for travel. As for its value proposition, I think if this microphone is being bought for music, you would do much better with the AKG Lyra. The extra polar patterns are kind of a big deal there for music. I mean, it does okay and everything else, so this must come down to taste for you. Do you prefer the sound of this microphone over other USB options? Personally, as much as I love the form factor and even some of the sounds that come out of this microphone, the piercing high end and the plosive control kind of kill it for me. I would go with the AKG Lyra over this one. Let me know what you think down below though. Did I get it right? Am I being too harsh with the harshness on this microphone? Let me know down below. And of course, as always, I'll see you in the next video.